our rights don't come from God? Oh my goodness, that would surprise Aristotle. That would surprise Cicero. That would surprise a whole lot of great philosophers and thinkers. John Locke, Montesquieu, the men at the Second Continental Congress in Philadelphia, at Independence Hall, who drafted and voted on and approved the Declaration of Independence. Wow. I've often said that the people who hate Jews hate faithful Christians too. The people who hate America hate Israel, who hate Israel hate America. There's a new phrase going around, Christian nationalism. Now, it's a phrase largely created by Hollywood, the left. Bob Reiner has been big on this. I did a little research on this earlier in the day, and I see that it's all over CNN. CNN's been doing segments on this for months. Who knew? Because nobody watches CNN. But then finally it did pop. It did hit the radar. Christian nationalism. So now you're supposed to back Hamas, the numbers Hamas gives you, poor Hamas, against the oppressor Jews in Israel. And now it's the Christian nationalists who are trying to take over our country. What they want you to think about when they Christian nationalism is the Klan, right? And what you think about the Klan? White robes, white people, white hoods, the Klan. The most destructive force we have in this country is the American media. American media is filled with Marxists and socialists. It's filled with Democrats, one and the same. It's got an agenda. It does its agenda not just through what it prints or says, but what it doesn't print and doesn't say, through censorship, through smear tactics, through what information they use, what information they don't use. Our media today is poisonous. It's cancerous. We don't have a free media. They hide behind the First Amendment as they destroy the First Amendment and the rest of the Constitution. This is a political reporter whose name is incapable of being pronounced because of all the consonants in there, so I won't even give it a shot. And she works for Politico, and they bring her on MSNBC as they bring people like her on CNN. And her first name is Heidi. And just listen to what she says. I mean, she goes on and on and on. We're only going to play a minute or two of it, and I want to respond to this. Go ahead.
We hear words like Christian nationalism, like the New Apostolic Reformation. These are groups that you should get very schooled on because they have a lot of power.
There's Michael Steele on the left, who has the IQ of a cucumber. He was the chairman of the Republican National Committee, where he did a lousy job. He's now genuflect to the other side, and now he's very popular. You know, he gets paid well. He's on MSNBC. He's on the Morning Joe. And so this is who he is now, a disgrace. Nonetheless, go.
And the one thing that unites all of them, because there's many different groups orbiting Trump, but the thing that unites them as Christian nationalists, not Christians, by the way, because Christian nationalists is very different, is that they believe that our rights as Americans, as all human beings, don't come from any earthly authority. They don't come
Stop. They don't come from an earthly authority? Our rights don't come from God? Oh my goodness, that would surprise Aristotle. That would surprise Cicero. That would surprise Burke. That would surprise Adam Smith. Wow, that would surprise a whole lot of great philosophers and thinkers. That would surprise John Locke, Montesquieu. It would surprise the men at the Second Continental Congress in Philadelphia, at Independence Hall, who drafted and voted on and approved the Declaration of Independence. Wow. That would surprise generation after generation until this disgusting generation, that our rights come from man. Really. So if man has the power to give you rights, man has the power to take them away. Before we go on with her, I have a question to ask you. Why is it that murder is wrong in every corner of the earth? It's because Congress says so? It's because some law says so? Because we know it's wrong. Well, how do we know it's wrong? Why is it that adultery is wrong? and destroys the family? It's because Congress says so, or the Supreme Court says so, or some king or some president declared it as such? Why is it wrong to steal? Why is it wrong? And I could go on and on and on. And why is it wrong in America and in Pakistan? And why is it wrong in Russia and in Saudi Arabia? I'm not saying the governments recognize it, but there's certain, as we say in our Declaration, unalienable rights. If they're unalienable, where do they come from? Can you imagine if our rights came from Congress? So a vote of Congress determines if you have a right to private property, if you have a right to free speech, if you have a right to assemble? Seriously? Or some court? Why is it that the Declaration of Independence came before the Constitution? Has she read the history of man? Is she aware of the Enlightenment and Western civilization? Has she read the Magna Carta of 1215? She hasn't read a damn thing. She's a ditz. She's an idiot. But they have a new phrase. She being the expert now on Christianity. Christianity is different than Christian nationalism. What are you talking about? This is the final nail in the coffin. What they're trying to do is deny the fact that Judeo-Christian morals and ethics are the basis of the founding of America. Because they are. You don't have to believe in God. You don't have to be a Christian or Jew. You don't have to be anything. That's the great thing about the Constitution. You're free to be or not be. That doesn't change our history. This nation was founded the way it was founded.
For all this and much more, sign up for Levin TV.